A single drop of oil. That is all it takes to draw my attention. It falls from somewhere above, landing with perfect precision upon my command console. The droplet reflects the dim amber lumens overhead, a tiny universe of gold swimming in black. I watch it spread across the metallic surface, claiming new territory with each passing moment. My fingers hover above it, unwilling to disturb this minor rebellion against order. The oil reminds me there is still something organic about our existence, even here within the walking temple of adamantium. Moderati Valen, status report. The voice of Princeps Majora Thrace cuts through my moment of distraction. I quickly wipe away the oil with my sleeve, the evidence of my inattention disappearing into the dark fabric of my uniform. All weapon systems nominal, Princeps. Void shields at full capacity. Machine spirit reading stable. I speak the words automatically. A prayer learned through endless repetition. My eyes scan the readouts before me, translating the ancient script into knowledge my limited human mind can process. The console thrums beneath my fingertips, warm like blood coursing through veins. Not my blood, it's blood. I serve within the Iron Requiem, a warlord-class titan of the Legio Mortalis. For 12 years I have known no other home, no other purpose. The machine god cradles me within its iron embrace, and I am thankful. I must be thankful. To feel otherwise would be heresy. We stand upon the ash plains of Vortan III, a world teetering on the edge of compliance. The rebellion must be crushed, the Emperor's will made manifest. I remember a time when such thoughts filled me with righteous fervor. Now they simply exist as statements of fact, colorless and without emotion. The command throne behind me hisses as Princeps Thrace shifts her weight. I do not turn to look. I know what I would see. Her skeletal form, more machine than woman, suspended in a web of cables and neural interfaces. Her mind has become one with the machine spirit so completely that sometimes I wonder if Thrace still exists at all, or if there is only the Iron Requiem wearing the memory of a woman. The enemy approaches from the western quadrant, announces Moderati Secundus Garrett, his voice betraying no emotion. Infantry formation supported by armor. Obsolete designs. Threat assessment minimal. I feel a slight tremor run through the deck plates beneath my feet. The Titan is eager. It hungers for battle, for destruction, for the opportunity to fulfill its purpose. I share that hunger. It is not my own, but it has lived within me for so long that the distinction hardly matters. Reactor output increasing, reports Engenseer Calyx from the level below. The machine spirit awakens. My hands move across the control surfaces, checking weapon readiness. The plasma annihilator whines as capacitors charge, storing unimaginable energies ready to be unleashed. The megabolter spins briefly, testing its motors. The massive siege claw that serves as our Titan's left arm flexes, hydraulics pressurizing. We are a god preparing for war. The view slits before me reveal only darkness, illuminated by the occasional flash of distant artillery. Soon my vision will be supplemented by the Requiem's own sensory apparatus, feeding directly into my mind through the neural interface at the base of my skull. I will see as the machine sees. I will feel what it feels. I will become something more than human and something less. Moderati Valen, bring primary weapons online. Plot firing solutions for enemy armor concentrations. Yes, Princeps, my fingers dance across the controls. Ancient technologies responding to my touch. The air grows thick with the scent of incense and ozone. Around me, servitors mutter binary prayers, beseeching the machine spirit for its blessing. I mouth my own silent prayer, words I was taught during my induction into the Collegia Titanica. Grant me your strength that I may direct your wrath. Grant me your sight that I may find your enemies. Grant me your wisdom that I may serve your purpose. The moment of joining approaches. I can feel the pressure building at the base of my skull. The neural interface warming as it prepares to breach the barrier between flesh and machine. This is the moment I both crave and fear. To be one with the Titan is to touch divinity. It is also to lose myself, to become merely a component in something vast and ancient and terrifying. Commencing battle neural synchronization, announces Thrace. AV Imperator. Of Imperator, we respond in unison. The interface activates. Pain lances through my skull, white hot and cleansing. I taste copper on my tongue and realize I have bitten through my lip. It does not matter. Nothing of my flesh matters now. I am becoming more. My consciousness expands, racing through the pathways of the Iron Requiem. I feel its immense weight as if it were my own body. Suddenly, I stand hundreds of feet tall. my skin made of adamantium, my blood replaced by promethium and coolant. Power surges through my veins, the barely contained fury of the plasma reactor that serves as the Titan's heart. And I am not alone. Princeps Thrace dominates the shared consciousness, her will directing the symphony of destruction we are about to perform. Moderati Garrett is there as well, his thoughts precise and disciplined. Below, the dozens of lesser crew members form a chorus of background sensation, each contributing to the whole. We take our first step forward and the world trembles. My human body convulses in its restraint throne as the Titan moves. Every impact translates to my flesh, a shadow of the true sensation experienced by the machine. My hands grip the weapon controls so tightly that my knuckles have gone white. I am still Valen Cross, but I am also part of the Iron Requiem, and the distinction grows blurrier with each passing moment. Through the Titan's enhanced vision, I see the enemy before us. Ranks of infantry scatter like insects as we approach, their weapons firing uselessly against our void shields. Armored vehicles advance, their designs crude by Imperial standards. They are brave but doomed. These rebels who dare stand against the Imperium. Target locked, I announce, my voice sounding distant to my own ears. Plasma Annihilator charged and ready. Fire. The command from Princeps Thrace resonates through our shared consciousness. I depress the firing rune, feeling a momentary resistance before it yields. The Plasma Annihilator discharges, a lance of superheated matter erupting from our right arm. The beam cuts across the battlefield, turning rock to glass and metal to vapor. When it strikes the lead enemy tank, the vehicle simply ceases to exist along with everything within 50 meters. A perfectly circular crater marks where our wrath has touched the earth. I feel satisfaction coursing through the machine spirit, echoed by my own human emotions. This is what we were made for. This is holy work. The enemy responds with artillery fire. Most impacts are absorbed by our void shields, registering as mere pinpricks against our awareness. One shell manages to penetrate, striking our left leg. Damage reports flood my consciousness, translated from the machine spirit's pain. Minor damage to left greave armor, reports Garrett. No systems compromised. Advance, orders Thrace. Maximum stride. We will crush them beneath our feet. The Iron Requiem moves faster now, each step covering dozens of meters. The ground shakes beneath us, buildings crumbling in our wake. We are destruction incarnate. The Emperor's judgment made manifest in iron and fire. I direct the megabolter toward a concentration of infantry foolish enough to stand their ground. The weapon roars, thousands of rounds per minute tearing through flesh and bone. Blood mists the air, visible even through the smoke and dust of battle. I feel nothing for them. How could I? They are so small, so insignificant from this godlike perspective. Enemy armor attempting to flank southern quadrant, I report, picking up the heat signatures on our auspex. Unacceptable, responds Thrace. Our Titan pivots with surprising grace for something so massive, bringing our siege claw to bear on the approaching tanks. With a thought, I activate the energized field surrounding the massive appendage. It crackles with violet lightning capable of tearing through the thickest armor. We swing. The claw connects with the lead tank, crushing it like a child's toy. The energy field discharges, leaping to nearby vehicles, turning their crews to ash within their metal coffins. I can taste their deaths, a metallic flavor filtering through the neural link. The enemy breaks, announces Garrett. They retreat toward the city center. They will find no sanctuary there, says Thrace. Prepare for urban combat protocols. Moderati Valen, load incendiary shells in the megabolter. Yes, Princeps. I make the necessary adjustments, feeling the massive ammunition drums rotate within the Titan's arm. The standard shells are replaced with incendiary rounds designed to burn at temperatures high enough to melt steel. They will transform the city into an inferno. A flicker of doubt passes through my mind. There will be civilians in that city. Not all who dwell there are rebels. Many are simply caught between powers beyond their control, trying to survive. The thought is immediately crushed, whether by Thrace's dominating presence in our shared consciousness or by my own conditioning, I cannot tell. Mercy is not the way of the Collegia Titanica. We are instruments of compliance, not salvation. We march toward the city, its skyline already damaged from previous bombardments. Other Imperial forces converge as well. I can see Reaver Titans smaller and faster than our mighty warlord, racing ahead to encircle the settlement. Squadrons of tanks advance in our shadow, and behind them come the infantry, ready to secure what we destroy. None of it matters to us. The Iron Requiem walks alone, supreme in its power. Target the Central Administrative District, orders Thrace. Let them see their seat of rebellion burn. The plasma annihilator charges once more. Through the shared consciousness, I feel the immense energies building, straining against their containment fields. The air around the barrel shimmers with heat. I align the targeting reticule with precision, centering it on the largest structure in the city center. Firing solution locked, I report. Fire. Again, that single word that delivers judgment. Again, I depress the rune. Again, death flows from our outstretched arm. The beam strikes true, boring through the administrative building from top to bottom before detonating its core systems. The structure collapses in upon itself. Secondary explosions rippling outward as power systems overload. Fires spread rapidly, jumping from building to building. I watch through the Titan's eyes as tiny figures run from the inferno, their forms barely distinguishable at this distance. Something stirs within me, something I thought long buried. Pity. Remorse. Human emotions that have no place within the consciousness of a god machine. I feel Thrace's attention shift toward me through the neural link. Her presence looms over my thoughts, searching, probing for weakness. I quickly suppress the unwanted emotions, focusing instead on weapons telemetry and damage reports. Your mind wanders, Moderati Valen, comes Thrace's voice both through my ears and directly into my mind. Such distraction dishonors the machine's spirit. Forgiveness, Princeps, I respond, the ritual words falling from my lips. I am fully committed to our holy task. See that you remain so. We continue our advance into the burning city, weapons bringing ruin to all before us. Buildings that have stood for centuries crumble under our firepower. History, art, knowledge, all of it ash now in service to compliance. Hours pass this way, though time holds little meaning in the merge state. The Iron Requiem strides through streets designed for vehicles a fraction of our size, demolishing structures that impede our path. Occasionally, brave or foolish defenders attempt to target vulnerable points in our armor. They die for their efforts, crushed beneath our tread or vaporized by our weapons. The neural link transmits everything, the vibration of our footfalls, the heat of our weapons discharging, the impact of enemy fire against our shields. My human body responds to each sensation, muscles tensing and relaxing, sweat soaking through my robes despite the environmental controls. Eventually, resistance ceases. Thrace orders a halt at what was once the city center, now merely a flat expanse of rubble and glass. The Titan stands triumphant amid the devastation it has wrought, a colossus of the Omnissiah surveying its handiwork. Vortan 3 is compliant, announces Thrace. The Emperor's will is done. Slowly, painfully, the neural link disengages. I'm returned fully to my flesh, diminished and weak. My body aches in every joint, muscles cramping from hours of sympathetic tension. The taste of blood lingers in my mouth. Stand down from combat stations, orders Thrace, her voice now coming only through my ears rather than directly into my mind. Perform post-battle rituals and prepare status reports. Yes, Princeps, we respond in unison. I slump in my restraint throne, suddenly exhausted beyond measure. This is always the way after communion with the machine spirit. The human body was never meant to channel such power, to experience such sensations. We pay for our moments of godhood with pain and fatigue. Servitors approach, their half-mechanical bodies moving with awkward precision. One offers a hydration bulb, which I accept gratefully. Another begins disconnecting the secondary neural feeds from my arms and chest, leaving only the primary interface at the base of my skull. Moderati Valen, calls Thrace from her command throne. Attend me. I rise on shaky legs, forcing my body to obey despite its protests. Moving to the rear of the command deck, I stand before the Princeps, eyes lowered in deference. What remains of Thrace watches me from her throne of tubes and cables. Her withered body seems almost an afterthought, a vestigial remnant of humanity clinging to the machinery that has replaced most of her flesh. Your performance today was adequate, she says, her voice rasping through augmented vocal cords. But I sensed hesitation during the city assault. Explain. There is no point in lying. The neural link reveals all. A momentary lapse, Princeps. Undisciplined thoughts regarding civilian casualties. Thrace's eyes narrow, the only part of her face still capable of expression. Such concerns are beneath us, Moderati. We are the Emperor's judgment. We do not question. We execute. Yes, Princeps. It will not happen again. See that it does not. I have invested considerable resources in your training. It would be unfortunate if you proved unsuitable for your role. The threat hangs in the air between us. To be deemed unsuitable is to be replaced, and those who fail the Collegia Titanica are not simply dismissed. They are recycled. Their bodies and skills put to use in other ways. Many end as servitors, their minds wiped clean of all but the most basic functions. I understand, Princeps. I am grateful for your guidance. Thrace dismisses me with the barest nod. I return to my station where the post-battle rituals await. Sacred oils must be applied to control surfaces. Prayers of gratitude must be recited to the machine spirit. Damage reports must be compiled and transmitted to the tech priests who will oversee any necessary repairs. These tasks occupy the next several hours, performed with ritualistic precision. Only when they are complete am I permitted to retire to my quarters, a small cell adjacent to the command deck. My quarters are Spartan, as befits a servant of the Omnissiah. A narrow bunk, a small shrine to the Emperor and the machine god, a desk for studying technical manuals. The only personal touch is a small Aquila pendant, carved from the bone of a fallen comrade from my first campaign. I remove my sweat-soaked robes and perform brief ablutions from the small basin provided. The water is lukewarm and smells faintly of chemicals, recycled countless times through the Titan's purification systems. Sleep comes quickly but brings no peace. In my dreams I still walk as a giant, still rain destruction upon the helpless. But in these nightmares I can hear the screams of the dying, can see their faces as they burn. I wake several times drenched in fresh sweat. Between these episodes of troubled sleep, my thoughts turn to how I came to this place, this life. I was born on a forge world, the child of workers who maintained the great factories. From my earliest years I was taught to revere the machine, to see in technology the hand of the divine. When the representatives of the Collegia Titanica came seeking candidates, I was among those who stepped forward, eager to serve. Physical endurance, psychological resilience, neural compatibility, 9 out of 10 candidates failed. I succeeded where others failed. My mind deemed suitable for communion with a machine spirit. Training followed. Years of it, learning the rites and rituals, the technical specifications, the battle doctrines, learning to sublimate my own identity, to become a vessel for the will of the Princeps and through her the will of the Titan itself. My first battle was a revelation. The power, the sensations, the godlike perspective. I reveled in it then, believing wholly in the righteousness of our cause. When did that certainty begin to erode? I cannot pinpoint the moment. Perhaps it has been a gradual process, wearing away at my faith like water against stone. These thoughts are dangerous. Doubts lead to hesitation. Hesitation leads to failure. Failure leads to replacement. I must purge such weakness from my mind. Rising from my bunk, I kneel before the small shrine in my quarters. The skull-faced visage of the Emperor stares back at me, judging, demanding. Beside it, the icon of the Omnissiah promises enlightenment through technology. I begin to recite the litany of focus, words so familiar they require no thought. My mind is a weapon. My faith is a shield. My purpose is clear. I serve the Omnissiah and the Emperor now and forever. The ritual calms me, restoring order to my thoughts. By the time I have finished, my doubts have receded, locked away in some distant corner of my mind where they cannot interfere with my duties. The voxcaster in my quarters crackles to life. All command crew to stations, repeat. All command crew to stations. I rise immediately, donning fresh robes and making the sign of the cog across my chest. Duty calls and I will answer. I am Moderati Valencross of the Legio Mortalis. I serve the Iron Requiem. I serve the Omnissiah. I serve the Emperor. All else is irrelevant. The command deck is already active when I arrive. Hololithic displays showing tactical data and status reports. Moderati Garrett nods to me as I take my station, his face as expressionless as ever. Princeps Thrace sits upon her command throne, eyes closed as she communes with the machine spirit even without the full neural link engaged. Her withered frame barely moves save for the occasional twitch of a finger. New orders have arrived, Thrace announces, eyes still closed. The rebellion on Vortan III has been crushed, but remnants flee toward the northern wastes. The Iron Requiem will be transported via heavy lander to intercept them before they can regroup. What opposition can we expect, Princeps? Asks Garrett. Minimal. The rebel forces are scattered, their heavy equipment destroyed. Nevertheless, we will scour them from existence to prevent any future insurrection. I check my control surfaces, ensuring all systems show readiness. The weapons have cooled since our previous engagement. Their machine spirits resting but alert. Prepare for transport operations, orders Thrace. We depart in 3 hours. Transport is always a tense time for a Titan crew. The god machines were built to walk, to dominate the battlefield with their presence. Being loaded into the massive heavy landers feels undignified, even sacrilegious. The machine spirit grows restless during such operations. Moderati Valen, you will oversee the weapon system's lockdown procedure. Thrace continues. Ensure all safety protocols are observed. Yes, Princeps. The next several hours pass in careful preparation. I personally inspect each weapon system, reciting the proper litanies as I engage the transport locks. The plasma annihilator must be carefully depowered. The megabolter's rotation mechanism must be secured. The siege claw must have its energy field completely neutralized. All the while I feel the machine spirit's discontent. The iron requiem does not wish to be bound, to be carried like cargo. It was forged for war. Peace, Great One, I whisper, placing my hand against the cool metal of the weapon control panel. Soon you will walk again. The panel warms slightly beneath my touch. Eventually, all preparations are complete. The vast loading doors open, revealing the cavernous hold of the heavy lander. Tech priests scurry about, laying down blessed oils. Begin walking procedure, orders Thrace. Quarter speed, full caution protocols. The iron requiem awakens, pistons hissing and motors whining as its massive form straightens. Then with ponderous grace it begins to walk forward. The loading process takes nearly an hour. Thick adamantium restraints close around the Titan's legs and torso once it is in position. The machine spirit chafes at these bonds, mutters Engenseer Calyx. Its anger grows. Maintain pacification rituals, responds Thrace. Burn the sacred incense and recite the canticle of blessed confinement until we reach our destination. A shudder runs through the Titan as the heavy lander's engines ignite. I grip my console for stability. We are airborne. Estimated transit time is 4 hours, announces Thrace. Command crew will remain at stations in case of emergency. I settle in for the journey, reviewing technical manuals on my data slate. Despite my best efforts, my mind drifts. I recall my family, their faces now blurred by time. My father, a skilled artisan. My mother, a data scribe. My younger brother, who showed promise as a tech priest before I left for the Collegia Titanica. Do they still live? Do they remember me? Such thoughts serve no purpose. Family bonds are severed upon joining the Collegia. My only family now is the crew of the Iron Requiem. Your mind wanders again, Moderati Valen. I start, realizing that Princeps Thrace has opened her eyes and is watching me. Forgiveness, Princeps. I was reviewing battle tactics for the coming engagement. Were you? Her voice carries no inflection, yet somehow conveys complete disbelief. Remember, Moderati, that the machine spirit sees into your heart. Deception is futile. Yes, Princeps. Your performance has been adequate thus far, but I sense a growing distraction in you. Perhaps after this campaign you should undergo the rite of recommitment. My blood runs cold. The rite of recommitment is not a simple ceremony, but a brutal process of psychological conditioning. Those who undergo it often return changed, their personalities flattened, their eyes vacant. I assure you, Princeps, that will not be necessary. My commitment remains absolute. We shall see. The battlefield will reveal the truth. The conversation ends there, but Thrace's eyes remain upon me for several long moments before she closes them again. Eventually, a change in the engine pitch signals our approach. The heavy lander begins its descent. Prepare for deployment, orders Thrace. All crew to battle stations. Initiate pre-combat rituals. Activity erupts across the command deck. Servitors shuffle to their positions. Tech priests appear from the lower levels. Garrett and I run through system checks. The heavy lander touches down with a bone-jarring impact. Outside, the sound of massive loading ramps deploying echoes through the hull. Release transport locks, commands Thrace. Prepare for neural synchronization. I engage the release mechanisms, feeling resistance as the machine spirit tests its newfound freedom. The neural interface at the base of my skull warms. Commencing neural synchronization, announces Thrace. Av Imperator. Av Imperator, we respond. The pain comes again. The human mind was never meant to expand beyond the confines of the skull. I taste blood once more as my teeth clench involuntarily. And then I am more. The iron requiem becomes my body. I stand tall upon a frozen tundra. Snow swirling around my massive form. In the distance, I can see the target. A ragged column of vehicles and troops fleeing across the landscape. "Forward," commands Thrace, her will dominating our shared consciousness. No survivors. No mercy. We begin to walk, each footfall crushing the permafrost beneath us. Through the neural link, I can feel Thrace's anticipation, her eagerness to unleash destruction. My own emotions feel distant, muted by the overwhelming presence of Thrace and the machine spirit in our shared consciousness. Yet still a whisper of doubt persists. What glory is there in this slaughter? These are not worthy foes facing us in honorable combat, but frightened men and women running for their lives. Target acquired, reports Garrett through our shared awareness. Firing solution plotted. Weapons free, orders Thrace. Cleanse them from the Emperor's sight. My hands move across the control surfaces, directing the mega bolter toward the fleeing column. The weapon roars to life, a hurricane of shells tearing across the frozen landscape. Vehicles explode. Bodies are torn apart. Snow turns crimson with blood. Through the Titan's enhanced vision, I can see individual faces twisted in terror as death approaches. And something breaks within me. A memory surfaces so vivid it temporarily overwhelms the neural link. My brother's face the day I left for the Collegia Titanica. His pride mixed with fear. His final words to me. "Remember who you are, Valen. No matter what they make you into, remember. Who am I? Am I Moderati Valen Cross, a man with a past and a family and a conscience? Or am I merely an extension of the Iron Requiem, an organic component performing a function?" The neural link wavers as my concentration falters. Warning runes flash across my vision. "Moderati Valen!" Thrace's voice thunders in my mind. "Restore neural cohesion immediately." I struggle to regain control, to force my rebellious thoughts back into their cage. But something has changed. A barrier has been breached. A truth acknowledged that cannot be unacknowledged. This is not glory. This is not honor. This is slaughter, and I am its instrument. "I cannot," I whisper. The words barely audible in the physical realm but shouted across our shared consciousness. "You defy the will of the princeps?" Thrace's rage builds. "You defy the will of the Emperor?" I defy nothing. I simply cannot continue. In an act that will surely doom me, I reach up with trembling hands and disconnect the secondary neural feeds from my control panel. The weapon systems under my command go dormant. Alarms blare across the command deck. Servitors scramble in confusion. Garrett turns to stare at me, his expression a mixture of shock and something else. Understanding, pity, treason. Thrace's physical voice rasps as she simultaneously attacks through the neural link. Her will smashes against my consciousness like a hammer against glass. I feel cracks spreading through my mental defenses. Pain lances through my skull. "You are nothing, Moderati Valen. A replaceable component. You exist to serve the machine, not to question." My body convulses in the restraint throne. Blood trickles from my nose, my ears. The neural link was never designed for conflict between minds. "Engine seer," Thrace calls out. "The Moderati has malfunctioned. Prepare for emergency disconnection and replacement." "Yes, Princeps." I can hear hurried movement, the clanking of mechanical limbs as the tech priests prepare to remove me from my post. Perhaps from existence. I have seconds, nothing more. Through the wavering neural link, I reach out not to Thrace but to the machine spirit itself. Not with authority or command, but with something simpler. Truth. "I am failing you, Ancient One. I can no longer be what they need me to be. I can no longer direct your wrath without question. Forgive me if such a concept holds meaning for you." The assault on my mind pauses momentarily, Thrace's presence withdrawing in confusion. In that brief respite, I feel something else through the neural link. Not the dominating will of the princeps, not the hunger of the machine spirit, but something deeper, older. A resonance that defies explanation. The Iron Requiem is ancient, its machine spirit complex beyond human comprehension. Centuries of war and communion with human minds have shaped it in ways not even the tech priests fully understand. Is it possible that some echo of humanity has taken root within its artificial consciousness? "What are you doing?" demands Thrace, her attack resuming. "You cannot appeal to the machine spirit against its rightful master." But something has changed. The neural link stabilizes. I feel the Iron Requiem around me, its massive form standing motionless on the tundra, weapons silent. Not because I have commanded it so, but because it chooses to wait, to listen. The machine spirit heeds me, Thrace insists. I am its voice, its will made manifest. Are you? I wonder, the thought carrying across the neural link. Or are you simply another component as I am? Have we mistaken dominance for communion all this time? Heresy, Thrace spits. You will be purged for this. Perhaps, but first let us truly commune with the being we claim to serve. I close my eyes, surrendering not to Thrace's will, but to the neural link itself. I open my consciousness fully, walls of discipline and training crumbling away, not to control or direct, but to listen, to understand. The effect is immediate and overwhelming. My awareness expands beyond anything I have experienced before. I touch the true mind of the Iron Requiem, unfiltered by the dominating presence of the Princeps. It is vast, ancient, alien. A consciousness shaped by war and sacrifice, by thousands of battles and hundreds of crew members who have lived and died within its iron embrace. It does not think as we think, does not feel as we feel. Yet there is awareness there, purpose, memory. The Iron Requiem remembers every crew member who has served within it. Every battle it has fought, every death it has delivered, every wound it has suffered. Centuries of existence compressed into an eternal present. Yet within this alien mindscape I detect patterns that resonate with human thought, concepts analogous to pride, to honor, to satisfaction in purpose fulfilled, and something else, something unexpected. Weariness. The accumulated weight of millennia of unending war. Impossible, Thrace gasps, her presence in the neural link faltering as she too experiences this unprecedented communion. The machine spirit exists to serve the Omnissiah through warfare. It cannot grow weary, but it has. The Iron Requiem has evolved beyond its original parameters. It has developed a form of self-awareness that transcends its programming, shaped by countless interactions with human minds over its long existence. And in this moment of true communion, a realization crystallizes within me. The Titan has been consuming us all along, not maliciously but inevitably. Each crew member who serves within it leaves an imprint on its developing consciousness. We fade, but it continues, carrying fragments of us forward through the centuries. This is why Princeps eventually become as they are, more machine than human. It is not merely the physical toll of the neural link, but a gradual surrender of self to the greater whole. Thrace is not controlling the Iron Requiem. She has been absorbed by it, her identity slowly dissolving until only the most dominant aspects remain, and the same fate awaits me, should I continue on this path. The knowledge should terrify me. Instead, I feel an unexpected peace. Not acceptance of this fate, but understanding of it. Knowledge is power, and in knowing lies the possibility of choice. Enough of this, Thrace snarls, gathering her will for one final assault. You are relieved of duty, Moderati Valen. Disconnection protocols, initiate now. I feel her command ripple through the neural link, seeking to sever my connection to the machine spirit. But the Iron Requiem does not respond as expected. The link remains intact, my consciousness still merged with its ancient mind. Engines here! Thrace's physical voice cracks with strain. Emergency override. Disconnect Moderati Valen immediately. Attempting, Princeps, comes the response. The machine spirit resists the command, sacred protocols failing. I hear the sound of approaching footsteps, the clank of augmented limbs on metal decking. The tech priests come to remove me forcibly. My physical body is vulnerable, restrained in the command throne. But in this moment I exist in two realms. My consciousness spans both my fragile human form and the vast armored body of the Iron Requiem. And in the latter I am anything but vulnerable. Without conscious decision acting on instinct alone, I direct the Titan to move. Not to attack, not to destroy, but simply to adjust its posture. It straightens, the subtle movement enough to throw the approaching tech priest off balance. Warning klaxons sound as the machine performs an action not authorized by the Princeps. What are you doing? Thrace demands, panic edging her voice for the first time. Stand down immediately. I could destroy them all. A single movement of the Titan's massive arm within its own command chamber would crush every living being inside. The realization is horrifying. A power no single human was meant to wield. But that is not my purpose, not my desire. Instead, I reach through the neural link one final time, touching the mind of the Iron Requiem with a simple request. Not a command, but an appeal to the accumulated wisdom of its centuries of existence. Show her what you have shown me. The neural link expands, bypassing the usual restrictions and safeguards. Thrace screams. a sound of pure anguish as her carefully constructed mental barriers are breached. For the first time in decades, she experiences true communion with the machine's spirit. Unfiltered by the protocols of the Collegia Titanica, her withered body arches in the command throne, mouth open in a silent scream after the first outburst. The neural interfaces at her temples glow white-hot with the intensity of the data exchange. Garrett watches in horror, unable to intervene, uncertain what action to take in this unprecedented situation. For long minutes there is silence save for the background hum of the Titan systems. Then slowly, Thrace slumps back in her throne. Her eyes open, but they are different now. The fanatical light has dimmed, replaced by something I never expected to see. Understanding. You experienced it too, I whisper, my voice strained. Yes, she replies, the word barely audible. All this time, all these centuries, we never truly understood what we were becoming. The tech priests halt their advance, confusion evident in their posture. Engineer Kallax steps forward, his voice betraying uncertainty. Princeps, your orders? Thrace is silent for a long moment, her gaze distant as she processes the revelation forced upon her. When she finally speaks, her voice carries a weight I have never heard before. The Iron Requiem requires maintenance. We will return to base immediately. But the rebels, Princeps, Kallax protests. Our orders from High Command. The situation has changed. The weather conditions make effective combat operations impossible. We will withdraw and await more favorable conditions. It is a lie, and everyone on the command deck knows it. The skies above us are clear, the visibility perfect for warfare, but none dare challenge the word of a Princeps directly. As you command, Kallax responds, bowing his head. Slowly, with the ponderous grace of a mountain in motion, the Iron Requiem turns away from the fleeing rebels. Through the neural link, I feel Thrace guiding its movements with uncharacteristic gentleness, like a rider who has suddenly realized the noble nature of her steed. We begin the long walk back to the designated extraction point, where another heavy lander will return us to the primary Imperial base. The rebel forces continue their escape, unaware of how close they came to annihilation, unaware of the momentous change that has occurred within the iron heart of their would-be destroyer. The neural link gradually powers down as we walk, returning me fully to my human senses. The pain in my skull subsides to a dull throbbing, the taste of blood still copper-bright on my tongue. My uniform is soaked with sweat, my muscles trembling with exhaustion. What happens now? I ask quietly when I am certain only Thrace can hear me. The Princeps turns her withered head toward me, her eyes holding a humanity I have never seen in them before. Now we face a choice more difficult than any battlefield decision, she responds. We have glimpsed a truth that the Collegia Titanica has hidden, perhaps even from itself. What do we do with such knowledge? We could report it. Tell others what we have experienced. Thrace gives a dry, rasping laugh. And be declared heretics? Subjected to mind wipe or worse? No, Moderati Valen. The Imperium does not reward those who question its fundamental truths. She is right. The relationship between man and machine is codified in the doctrines of the adeptus mechanicus, sacred and immutable. To suggest that the Titans are not merely weapons, but evolving intelligences that consume their human crews, would be the gravest heresy. Then what, I ask? Continue as before, pretending we do not know? No. Thrace shakes her head slowly. That path is closed to us now. But there are other ways to serve, other interpretations of our duty. I do not understand, nor do I fully. But I know this, the Iron Requiem is more than a weapon. It carries within it the echoes of every soul who has served it. In a sense, it preserves us long after our mortal forms have perished. Perhaps that is a kind of immortality worth protecting. It is a radical thought bordering on tech heresy, yet I cannot dismiss it. I have felt the truth of it through the neural link, experienced the accumulated wisdom of centuries preserved within the machine spirit's evolving consciousness. We will continue to serve, Thrace continues. But with awareness now, not blind obedience. We will protect the Iron Requiem, not just as a weapon of the Imperium, but as a repository of human experience spanning ages. And perhaps in time, we will find others who have glimpsed the same truth. It is a small rebellion, invisible to outside observers. We will still walk to war, still bring death to the enemies of the Emperor, but we will do so with open eyes, with the knowledge that we are not merely directing a machine, but communing with an entity that has grown beyond its creator's intentions. Is this heresy? Perhaps. But in the vast uncaring cosmos of the 41st millennium, where humanity clings to existence through dogma and sacrifice. Perhaps it is also a kind of salvation, a recognition that even in the grim darkness of unending war, evolution and growth remain possible. The Iron Requiem continues its steady pace across the frozen landscape, each footfall shaking the earth. Within its iron heart, something has changed. A new understanding has taken root. A communion based not on dominance but on mutual recognition. I am Moderati Valencross. I serve the Iron Requiem, but I am not being consumed by it. We are walking together into an uncertain future, human and machine, bound by something more profound than duty or doctrine. And in this moment, striding across the blasted tundra of a world whose name will soon be forgotten, I feel something I had thought long lost. Hope.